Hello everyone and welcome back to Addo's Playtime. Today we're getting back into Oxygen Not Included. And that's right, we're getting back into the game that we all love and enjoy. And we're going to be making some big decisions today. I have put it off long enough. I've been very indecisive about it, but I think it is finally time to do a petroleum boiler and to do our geothermal power as well. And I think I have finally decided how I want to do it. And this right here will be the start of our petroleum boiler. So we will get that done first. Now, the first thing I want to definitely get done is getting some of all this junk kind of swept up and out of the way. And then we need to also get rid of this so that we don't have any heat transition while we mess with magma. So as long as you mess with magma in a vacuum, you won't have any problems, barring something crazy. But you know, there's a good chance you won't have any problems. So we're gonna put the petroleum boiler here, and then my other plan is to have my geothermal power plant right here. We may have to do something with these slicksters, getting them out of the way, but therein lies the rub. We have tons of this stuff that needs to be swept up all over the map. We did do a big sweep command, and I did let a few cycles go, not too many, because I don't know, I just didn't do more than I probably should have. But yeah, let a few cycles go by to sweep up some of this junk, put the priorities a little bit higher here and there just to make sure they get it done. We have, I can't remember, I think it was like 13 tons. Yeah, 13 tons of plastic, 16 tons of steel, 6 tons of iron. Man, we got more stuff than you can shake a stick at. But at the same time, my thought actually is to set up a auto sweepers all along this to try to get this picked up along the bottom a little bit quicker. It would be really handy if I could. I might actually try that. We may do that big project, run a rail all the way up and drop it off right here in our central storage. I know that that's something that I usually do kind of in game, but I'm definitely in a hurry. I want to get all of this done. I want everything swept up. I'm leaving some of this stuff for our dupes to get swept up on their own, just because, you know, putting one here, putting one there, just kind of obnoxious. But yeah, so I am going to look into that first thing. We're going to make a bunch of auto sweepers. We're going to make them out of gold, and we're going to see how many we can put across here, or how many it requires to get this done, get the power down in here, so on and so forth. The power is already here. Get a rail that goes up, and yeah, so see how that's gonna be. At the same time, I want to go over here and just kind of finish sucking all this oil up, put it in this area. I'm thinking that I'm going to make a giant kind of tank using probably this what was that again, steam vent as in the edge of it, kind of go all the way up, across, and down, and then this can just hold all of our oil. Now the reason for that would be is I'm pretty certain that we can get these three, well, not this one, but we can do a little funny stuff to get this one, but I'm pretty sure we can get this to fall over into the tank. We can get this one to fall over in the tank easily. I don't know, maybe we'll put our geothermal power here, but there's just 2 vents in the way. It just doesn't really seem like a good idea, but for sure we can get it going here. I may put a geothermal here. I haven't quite decided 100% on my geothermal power. It would make the most sense to put it here and then have that going here. At the same time, we are going to start our industrial brick. We're going to start with something small. I had an idea of how I can get rid of this by using the industrial brick. I can pump this out and just fill it up with steam right on the corner. And as we expand our industrial brick into an industrial sauna, I can just kind of cut this out here and call it good. I also had another separate idea of how it is that I can deal with these large chunks of very hot rock using steam power now that we have everything there that we need. So got a few ideas. We're going to try some things out. I'm going to set up the auto sweepers first, and get some rail construction going on. That will be an enormous project that will take quite a bit of time. So I am going to do that and get that set up and going in the background. I'm going to continue to let everybody sweep up the mess that we have made. Also, if I get some time, I might finish cutting out this biome here, cutting across into here, and getting that all squared away. And any of the areas that are not like blazing hot, that are just the lukewarm areas, I'm going to cut those out and, let them just be part of everything else. I'm going to save the cold and the super hot for their own thing. But yeah, so that is the plan for today. I really, really, really want to get the geothermal done. The petroleum boiler is kind of a secondary side project, but I really want to get the geothermal power done as soon as possible. I feel like that's super duper 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 important, because I am ready to start throwing power at our problems and get that kind of squared away. So I'm going to get the auto sweeper set up and we will go from there. I will pop back in when something interesting happens. Okay, so we are all done here, and I'm going to tell you something. When I started doing this, I made it out of all gold amalgam all the way up just because of heat purposes. I wanted to make sure that it was warm enough. What I didn't realize is as I was doing that, I was completely depleting our entire supply of gold amalgam. Now, I will be able to recycle this, but yeah, so we almost got rid of all of it. There's 40 tons left, but that was because I came up here to this last slime biome and I destroyed every piece of gold amalgam that was up here. I'm also trying to figure out these fish traps, but nobody seems to want to come and get them. I don't know what's going on there. I may have to just kill those fish. The only pieces of gold amalgam that we have left are right here. That is it. And I think it's because we were feeding it to our smooth hatches here. And I stopped doing that and put them strictly on copper and iron, so that I could, just get that free iron instead of having to process it here. But yeah, this is literally at the time when I started this, it was the only gold amalgam that we had in this entire place. So, but we are ready to set this up. So what we're going to do is we're going to, still have to hook up power to it, but I don't want to hook it up until I'm absolutely ready, because I know that these are going to go crazy and it is going to put a strain on the grid. This is why I said I would just want to throw power at every problem. It's just because of the fact that this is really gonna hurt. Like, I know it's gonna hurt. At the same time, we busted this open and we've got our pumps working again. We're down to micrograms, but we got to get this out of here before we can do anything else. So I'm gonna go ahead and let that happen. All right, so let's set one of these up. Under this, if we have any steel, now we're not gonna have any of those things. Metal ores. We want all of the metal ores. All right, so this is what we've got. We are going to make sure that we have everything as far as consumables, ingredients, eggs, soils. If there's any edibles, I don't think there will be. Filtration medium, industrial ingredients. Yeah, we'll take any of that. We won't care about liquefiables. Manufactured materials, we shouldn't have any of those, but then all the ores, everything but abyssalite. I don't want to take that up there because it could be hot. I don't know if it will be, but it could be. If there's any of this stuff, we'll see it left over. I'm going to go ahead and do the obsidian. I don't think there's any down here, and most of this is pretty warm, but it should be all right. All of the refined metals, which if we have any seeds, if they happen to be down here too, there should be a few like Joya seeds and things of that nature. So we're going to copy the settings of this, apply it to all of these. That one I think is already hooked up at power, it looked like. Oh no, even though it doesn't have power, actually that one does have power, so it's rocking and rolling. What we might do is just let a couple of them go at a time and just let it send things up as it goes. So this one can just sit here and work and do it, because it's going to fill up the rail anyway. So it's not like, it's not like we're going to get it going really fast because we have a bunch of different rails of stuff. But let's look at our temperature overlay and let's see how bad this is going to be. So most of these things are coming out what? We've got stuff at 40. We've got the chlorine gas is going up a little bit. This could get a little bad. So we'll have to keep an eye on that to see how bad that's going to be, how hot it's going to make this. I don't really have a cooling solution for it. I just know that I want to do it this way. If it doesn't work out, what I might do is just go back to the old-fashioned way of sweeping it up manually with the dupes, but I know that that's going to take forever. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, most of the stuff is, I mean, it's like 85. There's obsidian, there's diamond, there's some fossil. Everything is going to be kind of hot. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. If it gets ridiculous, I will not continue, but we'll keep an eye on it in the background. In the meantime, I'll just continue sweeping up some things. I'm probably going to bust out these last few biomes while we wait. And yeah, so when you come back, we may have most of this done. We are all the way to space here. So, and honestly, I think this has, well, this has polluted oxygen in it, in the micrograms. But yeah, we could probably, this is all the vacuum part. Slime in space? Huh. Interesting. You can see all those shovels going crazy. But yeah, so we will probably just bust out the last little bit of biomes that we want to dig out. Probably this and all that. And then I will watch this in the background to see what it does. So I'll pop back in if something crazy or interesting happens. And like I said, nothing is more satisfying than watching all of the gases disappear. All right, we are finally done with this part of the project. And now we can get on with the rest of the things. Now, yes, I do see that there's this little patch of chlorine here. I don't plan on letting that out. So yeah, that's fine. But we can get on with what we came down here to do. And that is going to be to do the geothermal power and to do our petroleum boiler. Now, I did a little test here. I've had this one guy running nonstop this entire time, right? He is just putting that stuff on that rail, good to go. And I also swept from here to here to see with my dupes, which is more powerful, dupe power or auto sweeper power. Auto sweeper doesn't even seem to have made a dent in the amount of stuff that is here. Dupes are just about done. So you know what that means? Setting all this up was a complete waste of time. Yeah. Okay. So if we look at the heat as well, it has actually created quite a bit of heat. So I think that we are going to be done with this. I think we're going to cut off the auto sweeper. And we're just going to let the dupes do their thing like they always do. So let's cut that power to this. Let that thing finish out its cycle. And then we're going to go through and destroy all of it. And let our dupes do what our dupes are meant to do. At the same time, I came over here and made a different entrance. I was watching them, how they were going up and down here because, you know, while I'm waiting on that vacuum, there's nothing else to do. And I just noticed that they were kind of bouncing back and forth. I think that if I just put something here, I can actually make a better entrance in and out more efficiently, getting into here and getting all the way to the bottom through the pole. So I think that's what I'm going to kind of do. I'm going to try to get all this out of here and into our oil biome, so that we can utilize that stuff, you know, like we're supposed to. But yeah, I think this is a much more efficient way for our dupes to get down here. And yeah, so we'll just let them do that. Okay, now it's time to plan. So my plan is to have my petroleum boiler here and maybe have my geothermal power kind of here. Now I want to set up like 9 generators. And if I did that under my power, so we can make these, and we're going to make sure that they're going to be made out of steel. So if I do 9, it's going to be a tight squeeze, but I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then stack another 4 on top of it. Oh, but I can't put it there. So 1, 2, we'll say 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think that this space here is going to be the best thing for our geothermal power. And then we can have maybe on this side, we'll drive a spike down just so that it's on top of this and everything looks good. Yeah. Let me give this a think, and I'll design this out in my head and probably on some paper because that's how I do things. And I'll get an idea for this. But the geothermal power, or the petroleum boiler, will be much more simple. I'm going to have actually this come all the way down and sit right on top of this abyssalite. I'll probably fill all this in and get it swept out like we should. And then it's basically going to be 20 by 10, 24 by 10. That's my usual design. And so I'll have the spike here, and then we'll pump that in, and then we'll counterflow it. And then that's that. I may do the spike on this side. If I do that, I'm going to have to shift this over. I kind of would like to do that because of whatever this is. We've still never discovered that. At the same time, I also discovered another vent up here of natural gas, which is going to be great because we can actually use that for power, because power is going to be something we're going to need to get these things up and started. But yeah, so let me design this out, finish sweeping up all this stuff. I know that this is just kind of an episode of, cleaning, but a little bit of spring cleaning helps in the long run. You need to clean your house once in a while, right? I mean, come on. We all clean our houses sometimes. Yeah. So anyways, I'm going to finish demolishing this biome. I'm going to finish demolishing this biome, and then we're going to get into setting the geothermal power up. I know I keep saying that, but I promise that we will get it at least designed out before the end of this episode. If we have both of them designed out and one of them is set to a low priority or something to that nature, that's what we'll do. But yeah, so let me get that all figured out, and I'll be right back. All right, so our dupes are still hard at work trying to get all of this swept up. There's not really much left here, but they're doing a great job. They are dropping things from time to time, and I'm having to come back in here and just retell it to sweep everything up. In the meantime, I took out all of the rails, so all of the rails are gone because, bad decisions are like that. I did leave it up here because, I don't know, maybe we'll do something at one point and need that there. I left the power and the gas pumps just in case accidents happen, and we're slowly bricking off this across here. Another thing was my water was getting really hot in here again, and our base was starting to warm up again, so I had to quickly chill it off. But I got tired of doing that because it ended up destroying this ice biome, and that kind of upsets me because I really wanted to keep that because I wanted to send my oxygen through it. I still have the entry and I'm going to get that done. So what we did is our typical cooling solution with an aqua tuner and with a steam turbine here. So what this is I've got some radiant pipes that run behind there to cool the steam turbine off. And then I've also got radiant pipes that run through the bottom of the water tank here so that it can always be getting cooled. Now the coldest water will be here, the warmest water here, so on and so forth. So we've set up our aqua tuner in a way. Now I know there's not a lot of tutorials. When I first started trying to figure out aqua tuners, there was never a tutorial on how to set this up. And I always set it up wrong the first time. And this time was no exception. I absolutely set it up wrong, and I had to go back to an old picture of mine that I had. It is just so important that you make sure that your liquid bridge has the 90 after the green output. The green output into the green output. That will actually allow, when this thing is off, to continue to let the water go past. So the two whites and the two greens have to be on the same side. It has to go in the direction of the flow that you want. If this aqua tuner was flipped, it would mean that the green would be on this side, and so everything would have to be moving that way. So it's important to remember that they have to go on the same side, and there has to be this 90 here to make it happen correctly. If not, what'll happen is the aqua tuner will shut on and off and on and off, and it'll never ever stop. So, like I said, whites on the same side, greens on the same side, and a 90-degree after the green. So that is the best way that I can explain it for anyone who needs to know this in the future. There you go. All right, so we're gonna set that to above. Now I always set a little tank with, you know, somewhere around 2 kg of water in it, just because it actually helps it kind of stabilize the temperatures. I have this set to be 20 because polluted water being the best as far as not freezing in the pipes is easy. But soon we will get, I mean, it's going to take a while for this to take out all that mass. I mean, if we're go back to this and we see our water is coming in at 23 and it's going in at 13. So we do have quite a bit of chill on this water. It might be a little too much because we're getting really low and I don't like that. So if the water's coming in, we'll say above maybe 35. I think that would be, why do I have a 9 there? Let's just take that out. 20. Of course, it resets itself. Let's say if it's above 30, then we're going to let it chill because this thing will chill water somewhere in the range of about 12 to 14 degrees. I mean, sometimes it varies and I don't know why. Sometimes I get warmer water than I get, but this will help everything here just chill and get cool. So now we'll have some nice chill water, 23 degrees coming out of there. And hopefully we can, and if we need to, we can really run this through a lot more. And I've got plenty of water to do that. So I can expand the chill through this tank if I needed to. So, okay, that is a permanent solution. And this will passively create some power. Honestly, it's not going to create a lot. I do have it set up so that if it does create power, it just goes back onto the grid. But it's honestly, this thing is going to take forever to really get some heat up to the point where, I mean, this thing's going to only kick on every once in a while, especially when it's set like it is. So I don't know, we'll play around with this. I'll probably change the settings here and there. Maybe we'll go down just a little bit. If it's above 25, maybe we'll let it kick on and do its thing. But boom, this is our first steam powered steam turbine that we got with steam power and everything. So I can do it. I know I can. That's why I can't wait to get the geothermal done. So this should be done any second. Honestly, there's not much left for them to pick up, and then we will put our design in. Unfortunately, I think these slicksters are just going to have to go. All right. So our dupes have been very, very busy indeed. If you notice, there is quite a bit more of the biomes that we could strip out are stripped out. Also, if you notice, what happened to all of our stuff? Well, I decided we're going to put the geothermal power here. We're going to run a spike right here. It's very convenient for us to do it. So we're going to run a spike that goes right down here. Okay. So where did all this oil go, you might ask? Well, it's right here. It's all right here. And yeah, we bricked that off too. This is where our petroleum boiler is going to go. It was a lot. It just didn't have a lot of space to put both of the geothermal and petroleum in one spot. And since we have a break in the abyssalite here, we can actually run our petroleum boiler and be right here. That's kind of my thought. So I'm going to put petroleum boiler here, which makes more sense because, you know, you have the oil fissures here. And we're going to put our geothermal power here. We already had a power line that came through and all that stuff. So we kind of cored this out so we could, you know, push all of the nasty stuff that's in there away. And yeah, so we've been busy little dupes. Now, I'm going to plan this out as best as I can. With my ladder segments will, of course, be in the way, but I will plan this part out and get it done first, and then we will kind of see what happens. The dupes are very strong now. They are killing it when it comes to cleaning and all that kind of stuff. And we did do quite a bit of cleaning throughout the map so far, but there's still lots to do. But focus, Addo. This is what we're here for. This is what we've been waiting for. This is the moment. We've also got ourselves quite a bit of stuff up here, so they don't have to go very far for resources. So here we go. We are going to start geothermal power finally. All right, and when they finish that little hat, heat spike engaged. All right, so I think I dug a little too much out on this side, but it won't matter. There is so much heat built up in this magma. Oh my gosh, it'll be ridiculous. And if I ever wanted to, I could probably make myself a little path in here and core this out and pull this down a little bit better. Now I went ahead and opened up that airlock because that airlock is at 13,000 or 1300 C already, and I did not want it to preheat this before we really got into it. So now comes the real fun part: starvation. No, getting this ready for our steam turbines. So we're gonna block this in. I think I'm gonna go with 2, 4, 6, 8. I was gonna go with 9 and do kind of a vertical build, but I think 8 in a nice little square, having them go 2 out on each side. I think that'll probably do it. It'll probably make it like exactly the way we want it. So our build is going to be kind of like this. I'm going to have the aqua tuner probably right here sitting on some steel tiles separate from this. That way it doesn't leach too much heat out of these tiles as it goes, and transfer that into the aqua tuner. Aqua tuner is going to go up and cool off all of our steam generators, and then they will just exit, or their output will just come right back in here, and boom, it'll just recycle and recycle and recycle forever and ever and ever and ever, and endless power as long as the magma stays hot. Which, come on, it's like, you know, a lot of mass, 14,000 or 1,400 C. It's going to be a minute. All right, so let me plan this out how I want it to look, and I'll pop back in and let our dupes go after it. All right, so this is what it's all been leading up to. So what we have here is quite a bit of steel. Most of this, if not all of this, is made out of steel, ceramics, and igneous rock insulated tiles. Now we'll pour some water in here, and that'll get us what we need to get this kind of cooled off. So what we have is, I know it's a big hodgepodge here, but it'll all come together. These are radiant liquid pipes going right through here so that our steam generators can cool off. We have insulated ceramic that goes around the outside. Not that I ever think this outside, I'm going to leave this a vacuum except for this one place where this is going to be. So that way we can run our aqua tuner the way we're supposed to. We'll make sure the aqua tuner runs before we let this thing loose. And then we have just heavy watt wire, gold heavy watt wire coming around here and into a steel power transformer. So I left a lot of the connections not connected up because I don't want them to mess up, but this is it. This will get us, these are 800 watts a piece. I'm pretty sure I can run these suckers flat out. There will need to be a little bit of automation. So the automation will come down here. It'll be a thermo sensor, and we'll put that sucker, here, we'll say. And then we'll get some automation made out of steel, and it'll go right into the aqua tuner. And we'll set this to something like, I don't know, 210 degrees. We'll play with it a little bit while we get ready. So yeah, I am going to kind of let the dupes go, and I won't connect this to that just right off the bat. So everything that they need is probably right here, which they probably won't even use. They'll go find it somewhere else. I'm sure somebody will get trapped or entombed, but it's a montage. Let's see how they do. And with that, Mega Man finishes our very last steam turbine. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Okay, I'm realizing too that the thermosensor is actually connected to the wrong thing. So if you were screaming about that, you were correct. This actually needs to go into here. So we may have to do some fancy angle building or doing some things here to get this thing to work correctly or build in correctly. And I'll destroy the rest of that automation because the automation is not for that. The automation is for something else. We'll put that on a pipe sensor is what we need to do. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and take all that out. And we're going to connect all of our pipes up. Now, what is next? Okay, so up next is we're going to sweep only some liquid. We're going to put some water in these. We're going to copy the settings for now. We will enable the auto bottling, but we can probably use sweep only for the time being. I think we're just going to, we're going to put about, I don't know, how long is this? So let's see, this is about 10 tiles, so 1,000 kilos would be pretty good. If we can get 1,000 kilos, it'd be 100 kilos per tile. If we can get that, that would be the best. So how are we going to do this? I think we just auto bottle it. We just let them rip. So let's not do sweep only. Let's do enable auto bottle. Let's put that at a 9 and we'll do one at a time. Okay, so all of our water is in place, about 100 kilos of water per steam generator to keep them cool. We're going to do our regular little, pool of pea water here to get the water onto the system here. And we'll let it circulate around and do its thing. Probably ought to hook up the power. We will sever the connection to the aqua tuner for now. And the aqua tuner also leads into that, which this has plenty of power on this 2 kilowatt wire. So we will hook that up and get that pea water going onto the system. So here we go. It's going to circulate around. We might even pre-chill the water just a little bit. We don't want to overfill it. That is the main thing. If you overfill it, it's why I usually like to put a tank with the kind of balancing act, but we'll try and do it this way. If I have to put a tank in, I can always put it up here at the top. But we don't want to try, we want to try not to overfill it. We also have some dupes that have some plumbing skills, so if we do, we can take out a blob or two of it if we need to. So we're going to let that fill up, and that is the next step of this. And then we probably be ready to start filling the system. I want to probably have about at least 100 kilos of water per tile down here at the bottom, if not more. And since we're building this in a vacuum, we can just do whatever. We can also just hook the pea water onto the steam turbines and let them output that pea water from the beginning, and that's how we'll get the water in. So when we're ready for that, I'll pop back in. So we might have made a little bit of a mistake. For starters, yeah, the polluted water definitely turned into sand here. And yeah, that's going to just kind of annoy me. So we'll probably do a clean water in here. That seems better. So we've made ourselves a little area for us to break in. And I'm probably going to leave this here now that I've realized that. The other thing is, I made this thermosensor out of lead, and I had no sensor here for the pipe, and that means this thing would have run forever. So we're going to fix those mistakes. Yeah, we're going to fix those, and then we'll plug it all back in, and maybe it'll run this time. I don't know. I hope it runs this time. Be nice if it ran this time correctly. Okay, so we're ready to do this again. This time we're going to be smarter about it. We are going to put clean water in it. So our aqua tuner does keep like overheating, and I think it's because of the fact that there's just not enough steam in here. So we're going to put regular water. We're going to not say sweep only. We're going to copy the settings to this one. And we're going to let this guy put all of its water into here. Now, the great thing about this is that it'll also cool everything off. So everything in here should get nice and chill. I haven't set this yet. So if it's above 7, it's going to send the signal to keep it open. And I'm cool with that. Because right now, I just want this thing to get full of water. So once again, I want to have quite a bit of water. So we have 26 tiles. If I have 100 in here, it's going to be 2,600 kilos of water, which will be great. And then I can turn that into, like, I don't know, maybe we'll try to get it up to like 4,000 PSI in here. Maybe that'll help the aqua tuner. I'm not 100% sure why the aqua tuner made out of steel. Everything is made out of steel. Is having a problem, but we're going to just kind of let that slide for now. So yeah, as long as this is, I don't want it to turn on at all. So we're just going to leave that. We're going to leave that alone for now. Let it be off. I think these guys are not hot yet, so we don't really have to worry about it. Status, I'm sorry. It's here, right here, under temperature, the temperature of this object. So yeah, we are going to let that roll. I would really like to button this up, but I'm so nervous about this actually doing its thing. I'm going to, in the meantime, go ahead and overheat. You're overheating too? Why are you overheating? I can fix that though. We can just run a little loop of some stuff to fix that. That's not a big deal. Maybe I should put that actually in here on some mesh tiles. It's made out of steel. You know what? We'll do that. I'm going to put that inside here, keep it nice and cool, and then, but then getting power to it. Darn it. How am I going to do that? Let me give it a think, and I'll figure out some kind of solution. All right, so from what I can see, I'm finally ready to do it again. So what I decided to do is put a little bit of crude oil here and put some radiant pipes to go over the top of this to help cool that transformer off. Hopefully that works. I do not want to break back in here. I really did think about putting some mesh tiles here and trying to do like a vacuum seal. I didn't want to do that. So we do still have a bit of polluted oxygen hanging about, but that's okay. Everything is out of here. It is a complete vacuum. So we are ready to goose this thing. I am going to slow it down this time. We are going to slowly goose this thing back up. So we're going to go below, let it heat up a little bit. Boom. And that's that. Do it again. We have quite a bit of mass here, so it might take a few cycles to do this. But I definitely want it to slowly heat up so that we can get all this water. Just don't want it to flash into steam. I want it to slowly go back up to steam. So here we go again. Give it a little bit more heat. Wait a second. Water's climbing quickly. I think we can kind of let it go for a bit on this one. Our magic number is going to be about, I'd say, no more than 200, we'll say. If we can get to 200, that would be the magic number right here to me right now. So it's already saying, or if it's above, so we want to close that thing up, get some more heat in here. Let's speed it up just a little bit. Let that water get nice and steamy, because these do not, we might actually change that. We'll start with actually 150. Let's do 150. Send a green signal if we're right there. So we're climbing on our current temp. Got a few of them trying to kick off. Gonna probably have just about 45 is my guess kilo of steam pressure in here. Okay, so now we're cycling back and forth, back and forth. Things are starting to kick off. All right, not so bad. Let's speed this up a bit. How's our temperature here? It's at 45C. What's our temperatures here? Great. 35. Can't really tell. It's still pretty yellow, but we might be able to chill those down just a bit more once this steam pressure kind of gets a little bit better. Oh boy, we're close to 50 kilos. That's it's a little bit much. I don't know. The edges here are not so bad. Maybe we just need time for this to kind of cycle itself through. So now we're kicking on some power. Oh yeah. Pipe blocked. Don't tell me I need... I should have... Oh my gosh. I'm such an idiot. I did a boo-boo again. This should be an easy fix though. There it is. Okay, so these things only put out about 2,000 grams of so you can bridge across. So all I did was bridge across this and pop it in here and then directly connected that one into that. So there's basically 400 grams of water coming out of these. So you could technically, you could set up like 5 of these across and they could all run off of one pipe, but that's kind of dangerous. The thing that I want to pay attention to now is the polluted water in here. So we have set this to, you know, not be above 50, but we're going to drop that. We're going to start with 46. So when it comes down to 46, I want to watch to make sure that this kicks on correctly and it doesn't overheat, because that is the most important thing, is that it doesn't overheat. I want it to not overheat. So as long as it doesn't go above like 200, it should be pretty good. So if this is good, if it stabilizes for the most part, then we can increase the temperature of the steam, getting better power to all of our guys. So right now we're at 33,000. We're pretty good. It's a little heavy here in the middle, but that's to be expected because this is where most of the water is dropping down at. So because of that, it's going to be hot and heavy. Oh boy, here we go. So our overheat temperature is 325. So as long as we stay below 300, that would make me actually really happy. So we are pumping it through. It does look good. We're getting 34 here. By the time it gets back though, it's at 47. So it's kind of staying on all the time with our temperature set to 46. So let's see if it catches up. If not, what I'll probably do is set up a tank, because I do enjoy doing it that way. In the meantime, we're still pumping out the last bit of that accidental polluted water jazz that we got going on. But yeah, I mean, this is it. This is geothermal power. I'm going to let this run for a few cycles in the background. But this is kind of my take on it. I've designed this before. I've done it. Of course, it's been a long time, made a few mistakes. You know, like I told you at the beginning of this, I'm not an expert at this game. I do love playing it. It is a lot of fun. I enjoy it immensely. All the little aggravations that you get from it, and all that stuff. So I'm going to let this run for a few hundred cycles. And see where it's going. If you are enjoying the playthrough, please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it does help out the channel. I know that this is a very long episode, and if you've made it to the end, I do appreciate it. Share this with a friend. Hit the notification bell so you can be alerted anytime any new oxygen not included or any other content. Hit a button at the end of the page to see what else we have on the page or on the channel. And don't forget to keep gaming for the love of games. Bye now.